Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to talk to you guys today about setting up the Nightlight in TinkerCAD. I'm not going to walk you through the entire thing, but I do want to kind of just like help you guys get set up here a little bit. So, first of all, here I have TinkerCAD open. I have a breadboard and I have a AA battery. So just search for like battery over here. Grabbed a AA battery and I brought that in. So if I select the AA battery, we can change how many batteries we have. And for this circuit, we need 3 volts worth of power. So we're going to need 2 batteries. And they're in series. You got the negative end that connects here and the positive end that connects there. So they're in series with one another. So I'm just going to connect this now to the breadboard. Okay, notice that I have my breadboard vertical. So this is just basically because ultimately here, when we look at the schematic, you're really going to want to set this up like basically in 2 separate sections. Okay, again, you have your sensing portion of the circuit on the left, which is your voltage divider, the photocell, and the 39,000 ohm resistor. And then on the right, we have our action portion of the circuit, which is the NPN transistor, the LED, the current limiting resistor here, which is going to help set us up for just keeping our LED from blowing. So we're going to set this up on like 2 separate sides, but we need 3 volts running to both sides and whatever. So again, you're going to start today with doing the photocell and the voltage divider, and then you're going to move on to the second half here. So when we come into here, we already have our positive and our negative on this side, but I want to set up my positive over to the opposite side. So I'm going to connect a positive wire over to there, and I'm going to connect a negative wire across as well. So now I have voltage on both sides of this. So like if I were to pull in a multimeter, and if I were to measure like over here and I were to say start my series, we can see that we're getting 3 volts. Granted, it's negative 3 volts, but that's just because it's connected backwards. Start my simulation again. There's my positive 3 volts. Okay, so there's the positive 3 volts. So what I would suggest to you guys is on the left side here, you bring in and you set up your sensing version of this circuit, right? So you're going to need a photoresistor, and that thing's going to need to be rotated. And you're also going to need a resistor. Stop. Okay, and that's going to go in something like this. And again, that's going to be equal to a 39,000 ohm resistor. So at this point here, we already have like the photocell. And you can see that the photocell is supposed to be connected to ground. And then the opposite side of your resistor is going to be connected to positive. Okay, so you guys are going to go through and you're going to connect that up. The center of these 2 pieces is the point where it's going to cross over to your transistor. So when you go to bring in a transistor later on, okay, we have either a PNP transistor or an NPN transistor. And again, when we look back here and we look at an NPN transistor, that's one where the arrow is pointing out towards the emitter. And when we come over here, the arrow is pointing out versus a PNP where the arrow would be pointing inwards. Okay, so when we look at the nightlight here, we have our emitter, which is going to connect to ground. We have our base, which is coming across, and then we have our collector, which is going to connect ultimately to positive, but really it's going to go through your LED and your resistor as well. But when you bring in your NPN piece here, we're going to rotate this around. And again, your base is going to be the part that connects to the middle here. Then you have your collector and you have your emitter, and you can start to like add your LED and complete the circuit. Okay, so that's going to be like what I'm giving you guys at this point. As we go through the process, I might start throwing out a little bit more hints and stuff, but I think most of you are going to be able to assemble this as is like this. So again, the goal for today is to get this circuit complete. When you go to start your simulation and you come here, when it's dark, it should read, the LED should be on, and as you transition towards the lights, and honestly, it's going to transition from being on to off pretty quick. That will turn your LED off. Okay, the smaller this resistor is, the further you would need to go down this line before it turned off. So you can play around with that too. This is basically set up right now so that it has to get pretty dark before it turns the light on. So we're going to leave it at that for today and go from there. Good luck putting this thing together, and let me know if you have any questions.